Hi guys, this is Dark Prince. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Dark Prince Trades, and thanks for subscribing. Some of you have been asking me questions over the past few months on many topics related to trading, on how I pick my stocks, what do I look in them. So I decided it would be good if I can put up a series of videos to answer the questions and provide a learning content for beginners. And of course, I've been wanting to make my own YouTube channel for quite a long time, and it only makes it more appropriate to make videos about what I'm truly passionate about, which is stock market and trading. All right, let's get started. Who am I? Who is Dark Prince? This goes back to June 2016. This whole idea of dirtying my hands in stock market never came to my mind until mid late 2016. One of my friend figured I was able to discuss topics about different businesses, and he had some questions about one of them, for which he was holding a position in the stock market. That's where it all started. That sparked an idea in me, an opportunity to try out something new. Never had a goal in my mind then. I just want to try. First talks were Microsoft and Sunrun. Uh, and I realized that to get more information, I need to use platforms like Robinhood, StockTwits, Twitter, and of course, good old Google searches. And I was researching. I found there was a big opportunity in the small microcap world. Some of the moves were insane. So I started to pick stocks randomly to see how they worked. One such stock was FNCX. I had no idea what I was getting into, but then eventually I loaded lots of money on them, and company got delisted and went to OTC. Lost all my savings on that. Then I restarted my trade, clawed my way back a little bit in UAVS on a reverse merger, made like four times in just few months, and then lost it all again in various other stocks. Also got into TTPH, a bio company with a phase 3 approval. The stock never really saw light at the end of the tunnel and wiped out my entire savings yet again. Was listening to everyone at this point. The only notable success during this period was OPGN and UAVS. And one thing was very clear: I had no idea what I was doing for nearly 3 years. 2019 came, May 20, an unforgettable day in my life. And that's when I said, enough is enough. I knew where I was making mistakes and I accepted that it's my fault. I realized I have to take it upon myself. People asked me to quit it, but I told myself that quitting after all these lessons is not the right thing to do. It needs an answer. I started to understand the importance of having a goal and few strategies to achieve that. I opened up an Excel sheet, started to document all the big losses that I had, what I didn't know about the stocks that I was failing in them. I was making a list of items and learned them one by one myself over the internet. That included fundamentals like SEC filings. What do they mean? Financials. Where do they stand? Quarter over quarter, year over year, cash, assets, debts that they have. Understanding the sector itself, which sector is hot and which is not. My first goal was to recover the losses. So what I did was, set a monthly goal, because I didn't want to really pressure myself every day, and I didn't want to have a lottery stock that gets back all my losses in one single trade. I didn't want to do that. Instead, I focused on just few stocks, tried to do some swings at them. Mostly pick the ones that were oversold. RSI, that was my favorite at that point. I still didn't knew then about Bollinger Bands, MACD, SMA trends, EMA clouds. No, have no idea about all that at that point of time. I started off with $6,000 in May 2019, and that's when I picked the stock VTVT around 150. I did all my DD on them in terms of technicals, the insider buys, and also the data catalyst that was coming up. I also learned bios usually run up towards the data, be it good or bad. And CEO also was buying a tons of shares in VTVT. So sounded a low risk setup. After all this being checked, uh, I started to believe in that. The stock moved up in stair steps as expected, and I scaled them out around 180 $2. Held them for nearly 3 to 4 weeks, but it was worth it. Gave me a lot of confidence that I can recover my losses. Made like about $1,500, $1,600 on that, and that was the start that I was expecting. Rest of 2019, oh boy, broke my leg in July. Had to lay down in bed for nearly 3 to 4 months. That's when I decided to make most use of the time. I was learning more and more technicals using Investopedia, and I'm a visual learner, so charts were naturally the one that I picked. I was able to spot the buys and sell zones on the chart. Was very optimistic about that approach. Started to pick stocks based on that. Wasn't fully recovering my losses at that point of time. I was more focused on the learning itself. Eventually, as the days went by, my losses were slowly diminishing. Made my next steps, moving out funds from Robinhood, Thinkorswim, and opened up Webull. Started to focus on two accounts, on both being cash accounts, and I restricted myself to use limited funds on them, one for short term and one for long term, so I don't really lose it all, spreading the cash into different accounts. I was also restricted because of the cash account with the T plus two, where I cannot trade more often. And that kind of brought me some self discipline. It gave me a sense of responsibility and self control over the money that I could put in a single trade. So I don't lose it all in one single trade again, learning from the past mistakes. Also, some of the stocks that I really picked and I liked, Party, Eros, I made a good win out of them, courtesy of TJ Trades and his DD. I was able to learn along with him. Another video coming up about my past later for sure. A must talk. And then came 2020, and that's when COVID hit us and market was turning for worse. And I still haven't fully recovered my losses yet at that point. But I didn't worry about the market crashing every week. Instead, I was focused more on oversold stocks and started to trade them in a specific channel. I was making sure I didn't repeat my mistakes from 2019. I had smaller goals in mind and I was able to either achieve them or was making sure I don't have much of a loss in a worst case. Took a huge loss on LK Coffee, Lukin Coffee. Uh, I don't know how I took loss right at the bottom of the stock, but it was one such day and one such trade. I panic sold. Wish I held it because the stock rocketed right after the loss that I took. Lost my conviction on that. But by then, I was also learning that there is no place for should have, could have, would have in trading. Nope, not at all. 1 year down the road, the mindset has changed. May 2020, I kind of broke even on all the losses that I had, recovered all my losses by the end of that month. And I also personally hit a challenge account from 6K to 30K in a side account. And I was also following other folks more closely during the period. And I was learning how to do day trades, how to size up, where to sell without greed, and also when to cut losses quickly. More important pointers for any trader, be it rookie or even an advanced trader. The later half of 2020, the second half, this is where things started to turn even better for me. Started to put more weekly goals, which in turn made me pick more stocks every day. Started to pick the ones that were bottomed out and they gave very good returns. As usual, I went with RSI. By this time, I was learning about Bollinger Bands, my favorite one, BB, MACD, and all this were helping me out to pick a stock. I was starting to believe more in discipline too. There is no textbook, to be honest, to coach how to be disciplined, in my opinion. It had to be cultivated. Every day and week, I started to make consistent gains. And this is when I thought I should start my 100K challenge from 20K. I said to myself, I can do it in a year time from June 2020. But by end of January 2021, I was able to get to that 100K. I also sat on my hands many days when it was so bad to trade. I will never force any trade unnecessarily. I was coaching myself more to be disciplined, no matter whether I make money or not. All I cared at this point was success in a trade rather than the dollars itself. As I realized, money will follow success eventually. I was only looking for winning trades. Even if I made a bad trade, I knew I could make it up in the next trade. I was also playing swings consistently. Also realized more potential in the low floaters, my favorite ones. I started to scan for them, pick ones that crashed very badly, but then something that had good fundamentals and potential, cash position. Started to buy the red right when everyone is in fear, nobody wanted to buy. That's the stocks that I started to buy more. Some of the examples: ALJJ, BGI, ISIG, Apex, MVIS, AWX, NVFI. These are some of the stocks that are four times, five times gone above and beyond. Those were the stocks that I picked at that time, at the lows. I also love to play sympathy on running sectors. Laura Pix is my favorite trader who picks such stocks really nice. I learned a lot from her, thanks to her. Trust me, these are the best plays and guaranteed to be running if you pick them early enough. All right. So that's more about me in 2020. 2021 journey was a beast. And I think it deserves another video where I would be going over my complete strategy and share some specific details on how I was able to pick stocks and knew why it would be a winner. Well, I'm excited for this journey and I'm also a bit nervous about this being my very first video that I'm publishing. So, pardon my mistakes if there is any. If I didn't explain anything fully, please ask me questions and I'll try to cover that in my next video. I'll be going a bit more in depth on stock fundamentals, charts, and DD techniques. Also, I'll be talking about four key things which I never realized that it's going to be such a big motivation for me: goal setting, strategy, planning, and then execution. These are very vital, and I'll be covering it in the next videos. Thanks for listening in, guys. This is Dark Prince, baby.